All right, hello everybody. Making this video one more time. Let's go to my assets folder here. One more time, but I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So when I press play, if we're looking at this in our console, we did this project, and we had a little message come down here in our console, bomb destroyed. But how about this? How about a message out here, bomb destroyed, that disappears in 5 seconds? Okay, that's what we want to do, and we can apply this trick to all kinds of things. Okay, all right, so how do we do that? Well, here's the first step. First step is to let's just create an empty game object. Let's call it floating text. Okay, oops, don't want caps locked. Floating text, a little F there. Okay, call it floating text. All right, so there it is. I'm going to add a component. I'm going to add, just type in the word text. I'm looking for something called text mesh. So I'm going to add text mesh, and then I can just start typing. Bomb destroyed. Oh. Okay, all right, so, and then we can make some adjustments here. Well, first off, see this little circle there? That's where it's anchored. I'm going to change the anchor point to the center. Okay, so now it's centered right there. Can't really see the circle. I'm going to also align my text to the center, but then I'm going to anchor this in the middle, so I'm just going to use a transform menu and do a 0. Oh yeah, I took off the keypad. 0, 0, 0. Okay, all right, so now it's nice and centered. And if I were to press play right now, you'd see this kind of just blurry bomb destroyed message. I don't want that. So what I got to do is change my character size. How about a 0.1? Let's do a 0.1, and then I'm going to want a font size. See how small that is, right? Can't really see it. You'd have to really zoom in to get there. I'm going to do a font size of 100. Okay, there it is now. And so now, if I press play, it's nice and crisp and clear. Okay, now there's other things I can change. Okay, in this floating text, you could change. There's some mesh renderer settings that you could experiment with different probes. Okay, we won't do any of that, but the common things would be line spacing if you're typing more than one thing, font size, things like that, font style. Okay, color of the text. So you can have some fun there. Now, this is just a simple one, right? We could add some animation to this, and we'll do that in another video by just opening up our animation pane. We could make this, when the bomb's destroyed, we can make this message kind of float up and disappear. Okay, that would be pretty cool. But we're just going to do bomb destroy. We're going to start out simple. And because we're starting out simple, I'm going to do one kind of advanced thing. When we play this, we don't want it to be there, right? Okay, so we want to make this a prefab. Okay, but I'm going to do it in a certain way. I'm just going to make another empty. I'm going to call it floating text parent. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to drag this floating text and make it a child of the parent. You'll notice the child now has a different transform position. That's because the parent had a different one, right? So let me make that 0, 0, 0. Okay, remember children will take on all the attributes of their parent, okay? Unless you tell it otherwise. So I need to tell this, so I'm going to go back to 0, 0, 0. So children automatically inherit attributes of their parents. Okay, there we go. Why am I doing this? Well, maybe you have a bunch of different little texts that come out. Maybe you're playing a game and you're shooting some enemies, and you need a bunch of different little messages to come out when those enemies get destroyed or something. Okay, so this is one way we could do that with kind of the parent-child relationship. We'll look at it more later when we do that. Okay, might do that in some of our Space Invader stuff. But right now, this is just how we're going to create our message. And basically all there is to do right now is to take this and drag it down into our assets folder. Make sure your assets folder is selected. Okay, and you can drag that down in there. Okay, You can even arrange it and have, these are your Unit 1A assets that we imported. You could add it down in there. I usually just click it right in the assets folder because these are the things that I'm developing, right? And these are the things that somebody else did. Even my little Mario guy I made, right? He should probably be he should be in the overall assets folder, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to move that little guy out of there right now. So let's just put you in the overall assets folder. There you go. Because these are the ones I imported. Text Mesh Pro gave us a bunch of stuff with that shaders, okay, and then my assets. There now I got both little Mario guys. I don't know. I'll leave both Marios in there. Anyways, if I press play right now, okay, it looks clear, right? But it's still there. Well, since it's a floating, it's a prefab now, we can just go back here and delete that, and then basically we just have to instantiate it. Okay, so to do that, you go to your game manager script, okay, and you're adding a variable, and you're basically attaching this floating prefab to that variable, and then we're going to instantiate it. Okay, now I did it a little bit different way. If you look here, why is this different? You may notice. Wrong script. Sorry, this is our game manager script. You may notice oops, a little error there, or maybe not. Nope, just not scrolled over. I added I made this a private variable. Okay, why do we do private variables? Well, let me take out this word serialization. If I go back now here to my game manager, right, this floating text prefab, as soon as it updates with the script, guess what? That's gone. Okay, private variables are hidden to the Unity editor. So if I want a variable to be private, and it's not necessary that I have this variable private, but if I want one to be private, I want it to oops, hey, what happened there? If I want it to be private, and I want the game manager or the Unity editor to be able to access this variable and other scripts, then I just add this serialized field. Just want to show you that. So why do we do that? Well, there's reasons for it, but we'll get to that at some other point. So I added this game object floating text prefab. That's what I called it. Okay. If I had more things underneath that parent, maybe I might be more specific. This is my floating bomb destroyed, okay, or something like that. And then over here, when I go down here, I just want to instantiate it. It's like I did the explosion prefab. However, notice I got more parameters, right? I got 3 parameters here. So if you just kind of highlight this, give it a second here. Okay. Notice there's basically 3 different purposes of these parameters. The first is just the object that you want to, or the asset you want to instantiate, right? So we're instantiating the floating text prefab. The next one is the vector 3 position. Where is it gonna, spawn at, right? Well, in this case, we're just using the position in the transform menu for that prefab, which was 0, 0, 0. So that's hence the lowercase t transform.position. And then this last one is about rotation. So if we're working in a 3D space and we wanted something to do with rotation, maybe we want something to be spinning around or whatever, we could do that. But quaternion.identity basically means no rotation. Okay, so we're not rotating this because it's just text and on a 2D game. So that's what we're doing there. So this is what causes the message to appear when our bomb health is 0, just right before it's destroyed. We could put it, after it's destroyed. It doesn't really matter. But the last thing we need to make sure of is that the message disappears. Notice the explosion prefab, you'll see when we run it, it does not disappear. In other words, if I'm here in the game manager and I run this right now, let me run it. Okay, if I'm 1, 2, 3, right? Notice my bomb destroyed, that's the floating text clone. It'll disappear, but the explosion one does not. So, wonder how we can fix that. Well, fix it like this. So, if I click on my floating text prefab, you just need to add a component to it. Okay. Now, in my case, if I open this up right here, there's the parent. My script is on the parent. Okay, I could put the script though on the child, but if I want everything in here to have the same script, then I would put it on the parent. In this case, I did put it on the parent, but because I want this to destroy in 5 seconds. But maybe I'm going to have lots of other little floating messages for other things that happen, and I don't want it for 5 seconds. I want it for a second. So I could change that by putting those, attaching a script to there. But it's attached to the parent. So basically you just add a component. You're looking at a new script, right? You're giving it that name, seconds to destroy. Okay, destroy. Okay, and I already have one, so I'm not going to create it. So that's kind of how you would add it, and then it really has like basically 2 lines of code. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So that is that script. I even took out the void update, so I now have another serialized field. It's a floating value, seconds to destroy equal to 5 seconds, 5f. And then when the script starts, it basically destroys the game object it's attached to. In this case, it's attached to the parent, so it would destroy, anything that's attached to the parent, or any little text that's a child, right? And the second parameter there is the time. So the default value is 0 seconds, right? So we just put in that variable seconds to destroy, and made it 5 seconds. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's how you get this all done. Let me just go back here, and so now you have the ability to 1, 2, 3 get the message in the game window too as well. Okay, and have it be destroyed. So we're gonna have our modify here pretty soon. You can imagine if I want this clone to disappear, right? This one is not that bad, but if you remember, some of you guys, some of the challenges you guys are doing, some of you guys used what prefab was it? Fireworks, and that one just keeps going forever and ever, right? So I wonder if I could add a little script there, right? And maybe I could add the little script there and just make it go away after so much time, right? So, or maybe I could just change some settings in here, duration. Maybe there's some settings in there. So, if you want your your clones, your prefabs to disappear after a certain amount of time, certainly one thing you could do is using a little script like that. Again, right? I got my floating text clone. It's there. 5 seconds. It's gone. This guy right there, it's got all these things attached to it, right? It does not go away ever. And we may need to change that in the future, right? So now we have some tools, some things to start to think about. Okay. You guys have a wonderful day, and hope this video helped.